While browsing the internet, I found this cool effect on Shopify supply. So if I scroll down, you could see when I hover on this, what you call this icons, or sorry, images, it hovers like this. And you could see it has like cool animation happening, which looks fun to look at. Now if I go down, you could see there are more locations where we can see that effect. So yeah, you could see it just makes it look nicer and it's very easy to do. So how about we just get started? So I'll link to this page in description where I'll give you the code. So make sure you have Elementor Pro that you could get from the description, and you could use the link in description if you don't have it. That way you could support me, or you could go to this page and click here. You could see everything that is required. And if I go down, you could see I've created two versions. So the version 1, that is when we hover on it, it keeps on moving like this. And the second version, which we just saw on that website, where it just hovers and then stays like this. Now you do need Elementor Pro for this, for the custom CSS option. So make sure you get it from the description, and the whole code is here. So how about we get started, and I'll show you how this code works and what you can change to make it look like, how you can customize it by changing the code. Okay, so let's ignore this. I'll just create another container. Let's just make it like big randomly. Okay. Now let's imagine this is your container that you want to do with. I'll make it full width and like some size and some height for time being. So you do it for any container. You don't have to like do it with the same settings around here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my advanced, go into my custom CSS like this. I'm going to first do the rotation where it constantly rotates. You could see like this. I'll simply copy the code, go into custom CSS and paste it like this. And you could see it is not working, because what we need to do right now is, if we go into the selector after, you could see it says add image URL here, because we need to add an image that should be behind this one. So how about we go into style and then simply just find the image that we want to use. So these are the uploaded images that I've done. So I'm just going to copy this file URL completely like this. Copy. I'm going to replace this with that thing and then copy this into R. Let's just hide this temporary. Go into advanced and then just paste it. Now you can see nothing's happening, but when I hover on it, you could see the animation that it is perfectly working right now. And basically if I go into my container and make this white color, you could see it still works, but there's one more important step we have left. So if I go into my main container like this, go into style, and let's say if I add some color to this one, you could see suddenly it's hidden, because what's happening is that the spinning image is behind this container. So what we need to do is we need to choose this parent container, which is this one. Go into custom CSS and type selector z index, and then you could type like any z index over -1. So for example, we have used z index -1 for the background image, so it just needs to be bigger than that. So if you could type 0, if you type -1, it will be hidden. -2, it will be hidden, because we want it to be up. We want the we want this one to be shown around here like this. So just add like anything like this, and then you could say it works. It, for some reason, if I type in layout, it will not work. So if I type something in layout, you could say it does not work. It just makes this one go on top of each other, which is weird. So make sure you keep this empty and use this custom CSS to add the z index for the main container. And you could see the effects is happening. So how about we just customize it a bit to our requirement. So if I go into my code, you could see that we have selector with like 3 codes like this, and basically this is like height and width of the image. And the thing about this one is that we need to have an image which is square in shape. But let's say even if your image was not in square shape, let's say if it was in rectangle, make sure you go into like like photo editing shop and make it square, but keep it empty wherever like you can, so that it still looks rectangle, but technically the photo is like same size. For example, if your photo was something like this, like this, you could make it square, where the photo would be like this much area, which would still be rectangle, because you would be creating a PNG, right? PNG SVG. Make sure this much area, like this yellow colored one, is just blank. So technically it would still look like a rectangle, but at least the photo would be in square. So make sure whenever you change the height and width, you have to make sure these two are same. So 400 pixels, 400 pixels. So let's say if I change this to 500, you could say it just messes it up. So we have to make sure both of these are same. And right now the image is 500 by 500 pixel. If I make it 200, then it would be 200 by 200 pixels. It's not visible. So let's do 300 by 300 like this. So just play around with values until you find something that works for you. 400 by 400 is what works for me. Then if we go into our responsive mode, we still have 400 by 400 like this. So if you just wanted to have like different values for tablet, you could change it around here, which is like tablet image size. And if you want to have different size for mobile, you could change around here, which is like mobile widget size. You could see how this looks around here. So we can just play around with values by making sure our rectangle, the image in the behind is like the perfect size. Just make sure both of these values are same in every single one. So the next thing we are going to look in this code is we are going to look at transition scale. So you can see that when I hover, it does this animation, right? So let's just remove the white color so that we could see it well. You could see it takes 0.5 seconds to go from this 0.1 to this fully scaled one, because that's what we have set around here, which is transition scale 0.5 is. So if we, let's say, make it a bit bigger, so if I make this, let's say, for 1 second, you could say it just goes like slower, and if I do like 0.1, it would be like very fast. So 0.5 just feels good around here. Next is our animation. So the animation works for like 10 seconds. So if you want it to be faster, so you see here, if you want this to be faster, you could make this like smaller time. So if I make it for 3 seconds, you could say it is faster. If I make 5 seconds, 10 seconds is what I've used. If you want it to be slower, you could make it like even longer. So it's like, it will take like 20 seconds to do one rotation. It will take 10 seconds to do one rotation. It will take 1 second to do one rotation. So this is basically just how much time it takes to do single rotation. Then we got our selector hover after. So how much scale that you want it to do. So right now 1.5 is what I've selected, but if you want it to be like much higher scale, you could do that like this. You could see. So just play around with values until you find something that works for you. Then we got like from to rotate. So it just starts from 0 degree and rotates to this 360 degree. And then we have also set it to like infinite, which is like it will keep repeating after like 360 degree, it will keep repeating it. So if I just do minus 360 around here, you could see I can just change the rotation. So all I simply did is add a minus around here, and now I can simply change the rotation to whatever I want. So that's all you need to do for adding this effect. But now let's check the second version, which is like the simpler version, where when we hover on it, it simply does this effect. You see? So make sure in this one also you do is go into this main container and add the selector z index like this. And in this one, let's just copy the code that is given around here. So copied, go into custom CSS and then paste it. And you can see that nothing's happening because obviously we need to add a URL around here. So let's add a URL first. And let's paste it around here. And I'll just copy it around my container, custom CSS. Make sure you use the link in description for Elementor Pro. And you could see the effect is working perfectly. And let me show you the code. So basically this is the same thing as the previous one. This is the height and width for desktop, height and width for tablet, height and width for mobile. Make sure these two values are same. Then we got a transition for scale. So how long it should take for the scale animation to happen. Obviously if you want it to be faster, you could make it like 0.5. So it would take 0.5 seconds to go from like 0 to like whatever scaled height it is. If I make it to 5 seconds, it would be like very slow. So let's just keep it 1 second. It just works nicely like this. And it's just not for scale, we also have something called rotate. So you could see, so for scaling it takes 1 second, and to do the rotation effect it takes 1 second. So if I make both of these 5 seconds, you could see how slowly they happen. So let's just keep it 1 second. Make sure you keep this to like whatever timing you want. Usually it should be same so that it works nicely, but it is up to you after all. Then we got on hover, what it needs to do. So on hover it just needs to scale. So how much it needs to scale, I've added 1.6. If you want more, you could increase the value. If you want less, you could decrease the value. And then where it should rotate, so it rotates from 0 degree. So it rotates from 0 degree to 90 degree like this. So if I do 180, you could see that it will rotate till 180. If I do 360, it will rotate till 360 like this. If I just want it to rotate to, let's say, 45 degree, 45 like this, it will rotate to 45 degree. And that's all you need to do. It's very simple, and like it gives like much more nice charm to the website, just like we checked in the Shopify website that we checked. So just go to this site, copy paste the code, and it's very easy to do. And if you want more tutorials like this, consider subscribing, liking, sharing this video. I also have like lots of Elementor templates. I also have, like, if you go into my blog, you could also find some cool effects for Elementor. You could see like custom floating bar, animated gradient borders, and basically you could bookmark my website so that you could find the code pretty easily, because all you simply need to do is go to the page and then place, like, copy this one. And you could see the Elementor templates. I have lots of Elementor templates that you could use. Some are even like cool features, and some are just like templates, designs. For example, sticky floating effect, like a hover on, like how it changes the hover on this whole container, accordion and stuff. So that's all, and thanks for watching. I hope you liked it.